AM1480 WLEA.
Welcome back to the Amy McManus Show on AM 1480 WLEA. Another story out of Europe from Reuters about this volcano. The environmentalists are arguing amongst themselves as to which is causing more environmental damage, the volcano itself or the fact that people were using cars to get out of the area. Also, they're saying, of course, that the fact that all those planes were not in the air, that hundreds of thousands of tons of carbon dioxide emissions were not there. So they're basically arguing amongst themselves, trying to decide whether or not a volcano and the toxic gases that are in a volcano are more damaging than our planes. Also, we had Earth Day, of course, on Friday. Nick Chanchos is in the house. Nick went to school with Brian O'Neill and myself. Nick, how did you celebrate Earth Day?
Well, I didn't really do anything to celebrate Earth Day per se, other than what I normally do. I've been recycling. Before recycling was cool, as you were saying this morning, I think Earth Day is just grandstanding. I don't pay a lot of attention
I agree.
to
Earth Day should be something every day. My husband and I were recycling. We've been recycling for 20 years. We did it before it was cool, just because we thought, God has given us these gifts and this planet and the things we own, and why waste? Why not reuse? But I have to tell you, on Earth Day, let's see, I turned on every light in the house, and I turned on every TV, every computer, my sound machine, my MP3, my DVR, my radio, just for the heck of it. Just turn it all on and see if some lightning rods come down and strike me down.
Well, that's okay, because those are all powered by wind turbines now.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. We're set. Thank God for wind energy. The president did not celebrate Earth Day in a very suitable manner, we're told. They flew 250 miles up the coast from D.C. to New York. He and Biden. Now, they flew in separate jets to the same airport. Actually, they landed in the same city, separate airports, to attend separate events within a few miles of each other to celebrate Earth Day. Isn't that great? Of course, you have the security contingents, dozens of cars and SUVs and helicopters, which of course put more pollutants into the air and emitted more carbon dioxide. So, as Nick said, is it all just fanfare and a joke, or are these people actually serious about pollution and carbon emissions? You be the judge on that. Another big story this past week was the whole SEC scandal that ABC came out with. Another thing about this that I don't think anybody's really touching on is we've got the administration this past week, Gibbs, the president himself, continuing this mantra over the SEC is a separate entity. We don't have any control over the SEC. The SEC does its own thing. So in the very same week that they're doing this, because of all the push into Goldman Sachs and SEC and money and all this stuff, the very same week this is going on, where the president is trying to distance himself from the SEC, we have ABC News coming out with this scandalous, shocking report that the people that we are paying with our tax dollars have been sitting around looking at porn. And I haven't heard anyone wonder why there's this connection here. Is it a little bit conspicuous that at the very same time the administration's trying to demonize the SEC, that ABC suddenly comes out with this report of these more scumbags, good word today, at the SEC looking at porn on the tax dollar. So they are being investigated for that itself. Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa has found 31 serious offender. I'm not sure what, when you're looking at porn, I'm not sure what makes a serious offender versus not serious during the past 2.5 years. Also, you've got this whole issue. I don't know if you've heard this one. There's always been rumors that the administration kind of has tie-ins with Google and how they put in their searches. But what is interesting, if you put into the Google site, if you put in the words together, Goldman Sachs and SEC, the two top paid links at the top, those linked bars at the top, the first one goes to Goldman Sachs, but the second one goes right to BarackObama.com. With the tagline, "It's time for financial reform that protects Main Street Act now." So that's kind of interesting there. It's almost proof, I think, of a tie-in there. Speaking of this new reform bill that the president is pushing, what's most interesting about it, I think, is that there's a $50 billion fund, this sort of set-aside fund, that's going to be paid for by these financial institutions. And it says this would be used to cover the cost of taking over failing companies that pose a wider risk to the financial system. So they say it's not a bailout program, but yet in this reform bill, they've got this little set-aside of $50 billion to, quote, take over failing companies that pose a wide risk to the financial system. Now that that's been outed, Democrats are thinking about rewording those particular words. You're listening to the Amy McManus Show on AM 1480 WLEA.